Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the Food and Beer Whisperers. This is this very special segment, a new pilot, actually. Well, it's actually our second time doing this, of Mega Life 21 Mayhem, the Food and Beer Whisperers, which simply means I do food. That's why I'm wearing the chef hat. I do food. And my very special guest, Tom Mulvihill, the Beer Whisperer, will do craft beer. Welcome, Tom. Welcome back. Now, now, we might as well have a little fun considering the fact that the United States is going through a horrible heat wave and a drought nationwide.
Oh, it's brutal, right?
Yeah, we've been having bad weather, and it is going to go down to like 79 degrees tomorrow, Friday, for us here in New Jersey. Thank God. But I think Missouri is continuing with their heat wave, right?
The last I heard, yeah, we were going to continue hot all through the weekend.
Yeah, what a shame. What a shame. Now, gotta make the best of it. Now, I want to start off with food, which in this case would be my recipe for homemade, from scratch, sourdough whole grain pancakes. I refuse to make pancakes out of a mix from a box, pre-made. I flat out refuse to use any supermarket brand that's pre-made. Okay, if you really don't want to do it from scratch, it's really, you got to be real lazy not to do this. But you can go to Whole Foods and you could pick up Hodgson Mills or Arrowhead Mills multi-grain mix if you really are that lazy to make it. But we're going to start with the sourdough starter. You can easily make your own sourdough starter. It's so simple. You simply take equal amounts of whole wheat flour, or you can use unbleached all-purpose flour, organic. Let's say we start with 2 cups. All right, take 2 cups of organic, unbleached all-purpose flour, and equal amounts, 2 cups of warm filtered water. I personally use the Brita. So what you do is you mix it, and you put it in either a ceramic crock or a large jar. But never use anything metallic to stir and put in the sourdough starter. Use plastic or wood. You mix it up good. You add a sweetener. You add some brown sugar or dehydrated cane juice, and or any type of sweetener. Very important, because the yeast needs the sugar to feed on. You want to jumpstart it. Then what you do is you put a loose cover, like a towel, on top of it. Don't seal it. You want the air to be able to get in there. Leave it out room temperature for 1 week. At the end of 1 week, you are going to see this black fluid on top. Okay, that is your fermented yeast converting the sugars, carbohydrates, and the sugar into, well, right now Tom Mulvihill is warming up in the bullpen with some cheap craft beer that we already spoke about. So he's warming up, and he's doing the monk now, the beer whispering monk. Anyway, you stir with wood or plastic. You stir up your sourdough starter, and you refrigerate it. And what you're going to do is you're going to use some of that every time you want to flavor something, a baking recipe with sourdough starter, whether it be sourdough bread in your bread machine, In this case, we're going to do sourdough pancakes. And then when it runs low, when you have a little bit left, never allow the whole thing to disappear. Always leave a little bit left. So what you're going to do is you're going to feed it with more equal amounts of organic, unbleached, all-purpose flour or whole wheat flour, and more warm water, equal amounts. And you leave it out again for a week, room temperature, until you got the black liquid on top. That will last forever. There is your sourdough starter. To make the pancakes, what I want you to do is I want you to get some organic whole wheat flour and organic unbleached all-purpose flour. I like King Arthur brand from Vermont, but it doesn't matter. Get whatever you can find in your region, or country, or the world. I would take a cup and a half of the organic whole wheat or multigrain flour and a cup and a half of the unbleached all-purpose flour, organic. I would do 50-50 ratio. If you want, you can put more. You can put 2 cups of whole wheat, organic whole wheat flour to 1 cup of the organic all-purpose. If you want more fiber. But personally, I like my pancakes a little spongy. I don't like them flaky and falling apart. I like them spongy. You know that what I mean, Tom, spongy. When you know.
Yep, I'm with you.
Now, okay, 50-50 ratio. So you got a cup and a half of each. Then what you do is you put in some cold-pressed vegetable oil, whether it be safflower, whatever you have handy. All right, cold-pressed. That ain't cold-pressed, but that's what vegetable oil looks like, naturally. But anyway, you put about, put a little, glug, 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 glug. You don't have to measure it. Just, I usually go glug, glug, glug. If you want to measure it, put like a quarter of a cup. Yeah, you could do the olive oil if you want. Whatever good oil you have. Got to have that lubrication. You got to have that oil. That replaces shortening or any crap. You don't want to use garbage oils. Put a teaspoon of sea salt. Put about, for 3 cups of flour. There you go, man. Sea salt. Thank you, Tom, for helping me out here. You've been great with the visuals.
It's all totally under a hurry too. That's the thing. I'm just winging it here.
With the visual, and you're as I'm talking, you're putting everything in front of the camera. Wow. Then, okay, put about a teaspoon of baking powder per cup. So I would put 3 heaping teaspoons of baking powder in there, and I would put 2 eggs. Now, for you vegans, you know what? Gotta use the eggs. I mean, if you insist vegans are not consuming eggs, I would put some organic soybean flour in there, maybe a quarter of a cup. You know what? You really need the eggs, but wing it. Try the soybean flour or whatever substitute you vegans use for eggs. All right. Okay. Now we got all that. Now you want to add milk. Then again, if you have access to raw, unpasteurized, organically raised, organic milk, okay, great. If you refuse to use milk, use soy or almond milk, especially for you vegans. Okay, I would put enough of this milk. Okay, even it could be coconut milk. I was
just going to ask you a question. If you can use coconut milk, yeah.
Yes, coconut milk is great. It is the new super health food today. Outstanding.
Okay, yeah. Because and the reason I don't want to interrupt you, but the reason I asked that question is because of the leukemia. They've told my son not to have so much. All right.
The semi-naked whisperer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. How are we there?
Good. All right. I
Okay.
will pick up where I left off. And a one and a two. Okay, folks. When you add the liquid of your choice, whether it be the almond milk or the soy milk, or just regular cow's milk, bovine milk, don't measure the so-called milk, because some people like thin pancakes and others like thicker pancakes. So you add it, keep on mixing it, add it little by little, a cup at a time or whatever, until you get the right consistency. If you like very thin crepe-like pancakes, of course you would have to add more milk. And stir it up, and then add about, don't use anything metallic now. I would add about a quarter of a cup of the sourdough starter. Don't use anything metallic at all when there's sourdough starter in your mix. It kills the yeast, the cultures that are in there. Use wood or plastic. See, Tom is doing the visuals for me. Thank you, Tom. So what you do is mix in the sourdough starter, and now you're ready to make your pancakes. Now, mind you, whatever sourdough pancake batter is left over, it will actually get better with age, because the sourdough starter will ferment the leftover pancake batter in the refrigerator. It'll never go bad on you. That's another great thing about the sourdough starter. It will preserve it, and it will get better with age as you leave it sealed in a container, airtight, in the refrigerator. So that's another great plus about sourdough starter. So what you do is you take your skillet. Now, personally, I use a large rectangular cast iron pancake griddle. Okay, and what you do is you put the flame on high, and you put a little oil or whatever lubrication you choose to use, a little oil, a little butter. And what you have to do is you have to preheat your cast iron griddle. There you go. You have to preheat it until when you splash some water on the pan, on the griddle, the water immediately sizzles and disappears, evaporates. Then the pan is ready for pancakes, because you need a very hot griddle to make perfect brown, even brown pancakes. Okay, you want that nice tan look, that light tan to dark tan. You want that nice golden brown or deeper brown appearance. You want it to come out nice. So you pour the batter on there, making the pancakes as large as you want, and when you could tell it's ready to flip when you see many little pinhole bubbles in the top of the pancake. You'll see like 1,001 little pinholes. Okay, it'll bubble up. Then you check the edges, you turn the edges over and see if it's cooked enough on the side that you want. You might want it well done like me. I like mine a darker brown. You might like it a little lighter. And then you flip them over. And don't mess with it until you see a lot of these little pinhole bubbles. Otherwise, you're going to break the pancake. And that's pretty much it for the organic sourdough pancake batter made from scratch. You don't need any pre-made mix whatsoever. You just don't need it. So give it a shot. And you can also use the sourdough starter for sourdough breads. I use it in my Hitachi bread machine to make sourdough bread. Okay? So that's it for breakfast. Making sourdough starter from scratch and pancakes from scratch, organic. And now we will turn it over to Tom Mulvihill, the Beer Whisperer, our expert on craft beer, and he will critique his first beer. So, Tom, it's all yours. Oh, I'm sorry. I left out one important food tip. Here we go. For those of you that are like me that appreciate a really good quality buffet at a reasonable price, the best value around here in Northeast New Jersey is a buffet, because most of them are run by Asians, either Korean or Chinese, and they are excellent value in all types of food, not just Asian, international food, especially seafood. It's actually much cheaper to get your seafood from one of these Asian-run high-end buffets than it is to go to a seafood restaurant. Forget about Red Lobster or Legal Seafood. They're a ripoff. Find a good, high-quality buffet run by Asians, and you will get the best value ever in seafood. Don't let anybody kid you. Now, my strategy for tackling a buffet is you go to the buffet and you scope out the entire buffet. You check all the food out, and you do not take any food that you find at home. You do not take any high carbohydrate food that is going to fill you up, because you only want to target the expensive food that you normally do not eat. Like, I don't eat any bread, I don't eat any white rice, I don't eat any macaroni salad, no potato salad, no junk. I only eat salads, vegetables, and fish. Number one, fish, or if they have prime rib, of course I tackle that. You know, only the high-quality protein, veggies, and salads. I leave all the crap behind. I don't really eat chicken unless it's very, very, very tender breast, sauteed. You know, if it's like chicken marsala, I'll eat it. Other than that, I don't touch anything that will fill me up. Of course, the owners of these buffets just hate that because they want you to fill up and go home. Not me. I camp out like Homer Simpson, and I pile it away. All the expensive food. Veggies and salad, but mostly the protein that is of value that I don't normally see at home. And that is the James Piranha Madonna strategy on how to tackle a buffet and really piss off the owner, but it's too damn bad because it says all you can eat. Now I'm done. Tom, take it over.
I was pouring beer while you were talking, and here's why. I generally, you know me, James, I'm always the American craft beer guy. I'm the one that always tells you there is no better beer available than American craft beer. So, but today I happen to be drinking a German beer. And this is from Hofbrau, from München, Germany. This is their original lager. I believe it's 5.2%. And I've got this Erdinger glass that I poured it in, as you can see. It fits in there perfectly because this isn't your regular size bottle. This is a 1 pint, 0.9 ounce bottle. So, and this is generally how beer comes in Germany and in many European countries. Actually, they come in these larger bottles, not the 12-ounce bottles that most Americans are accustomed to.
Okay, it's a light beer, obviously. Now, Tom,
it's a lighter lager. Yes, it's about 5.2%.
Could you hold the label?
You were talking of food. This is the kind of beer that works well with just about anything. I mean, there are specific beers you can have with specific foods. There are specific pairings. But for something like a buffet, this would be a perfect beer to drink with because it's not going to fill you up. It is going to be refreshing. It is going to wash your food down, and it's not going to fill you up.
All right. Now, could you hold the label perfectly still on the bottle so the folks at home?
You'll want to, when you're planning on eating, you want to stay away from heavier beers like stouts, especially if you are at a buffet.
Oh,
now,
yeah.
stouts do go well with certain foods, but if you're planning on chunking it down at a buffet, a stout is going to be counterproductive to your needs.
Yes, very intelligent thing to say. Thank you. That is very, very astute of you. Do not.
And you and I have also talked about something else. You know, we talk about values sometimes. How sometimes some craft beers are priced way out. There's a reason why I'm drinking this tonight, because if you can believe this whole pint bottle went for 99 cents.
Wow.
So think about that. That's 99 cents I picked that up for today. I could get a 6-pack of six pint bottles for less than $6. So what do you think about that?
That's great. That is great. That is a great value in high quality imported German craft beer. That is light, a light lager, excellent for buffet eating. And but I was dead serious, even though some of you people might laugh at the way I communicate my valuable information, but I was dead serious about the strategy of tackling a buffet, as well as it being the very best value in seafood, because it really is. Because you go to a legal seafood restaurant and nothing is really under $20. I mean, give me a break. But I'm sure that all those foods and beer snobs and wine snobs out there, those jabronis, just love to brag about the hoity-toity fusion gourmet or upper-class restaurants that they love to go to that are famous according to, maybe Zagat's or food critics. And even though you get a tiny portion, you know what I mean? And they just brag about it because it makes them feel that they're better than everyone else. You know what I mean? But it's ridiculous. I see people occasionally on Regional Food and Drink, the wonderful Facebook group that we belong to. I see people posting photos of little itty-bitty portions on a big plate with that ridiculous swirl of sauce. The design.
That's kind of the trendy thing right now, is a little sprinkle of something on the plate. Whereas, imagine back when you and I were kids, when you go out to eat, your plate always had this little piece of curled parsley on it for no apparent reason. So the parsley's been replaced by these fancy squiggles of sauce.
Talking about the garnish, the curly parsley. It was
most places don't have that parsley anymore.
It was
fancier places. They do that other stuff. Sometimes they'll put some fruit on there or something else.
And God knows the parsley garnish that wasn't consumed. God knows that they didn't use the same damn parsley, recycling it on other people's plates.
You hope not. Huh?
They gave you a portion of parsley, probably. Ha. It's meant to be a little fun. I heard that on Sanford and Son. I heard that on one of the episodes of Sanford and Son. Partially portion of parsley, probably. Possibly too. All right. Now, what can you tell us about the flavor of that light imported German lager? Excellent.
I tell you what, oddly enough, I mean, this isn't a heavy beer. This only runs about 5.2. It is not meant. American craft beers think, most American craft beer drinkers think every beer has to knock your socks off. It has to be big and wow. It doesn't have to be. I love those big beers, those big wow. But not every beer has to be that way. Sometimes, especially, it's 100 degrees out there, sometimes just something cold and refreshing works. And this is a type of beer that works. Now, this isn't the type of beer you're going to see in every restaurant as far as you're talking about buffets, but if you are going to have a beer while you're doing something like that, you're going to want to order something lighter. No, I'm not saying order a Budweiser, don't do that. But order the lightest possible craft if you plan on eating a whole lot so you don't get filled up.
Excellent. You don't want to
fill up. Does this have a great flavor, though? Honestly, I'm surprised because it is a rather light beer, but there is tons of flavor going on here. I'm not a guy who likes to launch into that beer geek speak and say, well, this tastes like this. You're going to taste some peach, and you're going to taste some fig, and then ready. I don't get into that because I think that's ridiculous. But you do taste fruit flavors. I am tasting peach and I'm tasting other things. So, I mean, like I said, I don't like to launch into that beer speak, but beer geek speak. But those flavors are there. It's kind of funny. I love to stay away from that, but there are tons of flavors here. I guess was my point.
Hey, if the flavors are there, they're there. Just the important thing is an honest opinion, honest critique. That is the most important thing.
And here's the truth. The truth is this isn't a beer I dislike, but it isn't a beer I would buy every day because I like a lot of different flavors. But it's also a beer at $1 that is a perfect value. I mean, this means you can get 6 full pint bottles for about $6. You know, with tax, you're going to be slightly over 6. I mean, that's a hell of a deal, and this is a good beer for that money, especially when we're talking about 100-degree weather, when you're going to want to come home and pop open something like this, and not something big and heavy.
Right.
Makes sense, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Definitely.
And I don't know about you all, but, money's tight at the Beer Whisperer house. So, anytime I can find a bargain like this, you better believe it. I'm not, a lot of beer geeks are afraid to tell you stuff like that because they want to brag about buying a $20 six-pack of this rare whatever.
Oh, those
big bottle that costs $30. That seems ridiculous to me. I don't do that.
Those yuppie bastards, yeah, they love to brag. Hey, but you're speaking from mainstream America. Most people in America now are really living on a tight budget, and value is very important. I would not spend, over $8 for 6 beers. I don't care what the hell the beer is. I would not spend more than $8. That'll be, it's ridiculous. But but some people with money just They take it for granted that they have it. But what's going to happen if the economy really collapses? We might see a lot of those snooty, snobby, hoity-toity food and drink snobs. Those people with bucks might be, in a bad situation. They might lose it all. Very quickly. A person's life can change very quickly.
Yes, that is true. You're talking to somebody that knows that since you know my situation. Yeah, things happen quick. That can change. Yes, they can.
Well, an example on value, I mean, the buffet in my town, the Lodi buffet for lunch is like $8, and I eat a lot of fish. There's a lot of seafood in that buffet. I mean, and plus, I often go there with a 10% off coupon because they mail the coupons out there.
Oh yeah, we're coupon folks. We don't go out that often. There are times we have to when we have to go out of town and such for stage treatment. So yeah, I'm a firm believer in the coupon.
My sister prints them out. She gets a lot of coupons online. And honestly, I'll be honest with you. I don't like corporate chains like Fridays and Houlihan's. I hate them. But she had a coupon, and she said, me and Mom are going to Fridays. I know you hate Fridays, James, but if you want to come, you can come. I'll use a coupon. So I went. Lo and behold, I finally found something on the Fridays menu that I thought was a good value. Their fish and chips. They gave me big portions of cod that were fried in a light tempura type of batter, a decent amount of French fries, but the cod was. They gave me a decent amount of the scrod cod, which is a young codfish fillet.
Yeah. So it was good, right?
Yeah, it wasn't even pollock because I used to work with seafood for 10 years, and I know what pollock looks like. It has dark spots and white areas. It wasn't cheap pollock.
Cod will be lighter and flakier, am I not correct?
Yes, cod is a solid but flaky, meat that
Yeah,
is
it'd be very
white.
flaky. It's a lighter, flakier. It's not dense. It's a very flaky fish, right?
Right. Now, pollock is in the cod family, but pollock has dark areas mixed in with the white, similar to looking at a bluefish. Hake is an inexpensive cod, but it's beautiful, light pink, pinkish white.
Hey, let me ask you a question, because you might know this, and I don't. What do you know about a fish called sway or swai, or however you might pronounce it? It's called SWAI. What do you know about that?
I never heard of it.
Really? Because it's been popping up in my grocery stores, and we've actually picked it up, frozen just to try it. And I've noticed it's not bad, and I haven't tried to fry it, but I have baked it and grilled it. It does have a nice texture, but I didn't know if you knew anything about that fish.
Well, I would Google it because I never heard of it, and you always learn something. And maybe it goes by other names that I have heard of. I don't know. I wasn't familiar with it, but I mean, being that you like it, I will not sway you from eating sway.
But I've also noticed it's showing up on some restaurant menus as well. So I don't know if it's maybe that new whatever fish that's popping up. You know,
maybe it's popular regionally in the Midwest. You know, in Missouri. Maybe like for instance, if you go to Florida and you order fish and chips in South Florida, you don't get cod. You get mahi mahi.
Mahi mahi. Okay, that's good too.
Yeah, which is called, the Jamaicans call it dolphin fish, but it's not dolphin. The Hawaiians call it mahi-mahi. The Spanish call it dorado. It's a very common but beautiful tropical marine fish. It's very common, like the cod is to the Northeast and Alaska, you know, that region. Of course, halibut is great. Haddock is the king of all cods. As far as the halibut. Just have it just for the halibut.
Just for the halibut.
Just for the halibut. You're making halibut faces there because halibut is a big whitish round fish. It's very
I love halibut. I've always liked halibut.
You know what halibut is? When you see whole halibut, it looks like it's a big fluke, like a giant flounder.
Yeah. I actually caught one once, believe it or not.
Really? Where'd you go fishing?
A little one, actually, a very little one. Off a pier in, I believe I was in Huntington Beach, California. I was with my dad.
Really?
I caught a very small one. It was only about like this, which is, relatively small for a halibut. But we chucked her back, but I didn't catch one.
Wow, it was a baby halibut. It wasn't a fluke.
Yeah,
it wasn't
a fluke. I also caught a ray that same day. I caught a ray.
Yeah, well, they're difficult. They're hard as hell.
I get back too, but it was big.
I don't like cleaning any kind of stingray. They're a lot of work, and it's I don't know. You got to watch. Underneath their belly, they got these hooks, and then you got to skin them, and you got to watch the tail, of course. And there's a cartilage in the middle, in the wing of the ray that you can eat. It gets soft. But now, it was definitely a baby halibut. It wasn't a fluke or anything?
No, it was a halibut, yeah.
It was a halibut. Now, for those of you that are unaware, Tom the Beer Whisperer is originally from Southern California. He's a Southern California surfer, beach bum.
Actually, I never surfed a day in my life, to tell you the honest truth. I never even skateboarded, to be honest with you. I never surfed, skateboarded, or I've also never been in a tanning bed in my life.
I've never skateboarded or surfed either. I don't know if or roller skated. I don't know if my balance would make me good at that. I have been many years ago in tanning beds. I will never do it now, of course. I warn against tanning. And whether it be artificial radiation or natural sun radiation, it's not worth the risk. Now, what do you got there as your final?
I've also got another one from Hofbrau, and it's their wheat, or the Germans call them Hefeweizen.
Hefeweizen. Now, we have done a show on wheat before.
Yes. Yes, we have. And we can do a more in-depth show, but But I do have this, and I have another one we can save for another show. But again, we're talking about lighter beers, for a buffet. And I don't know about your house, but at my house, my wife, we were talking about pancakes, and my wife loves breakfast for dinner. So I don't know if you ever serve those pancakes for dinner or not.
I have had, well, to be honest with you, I've had pancakes in a diner coming out of a club back in the day. I wouldn't refuse pancakes or crepes at all. I love anything in a pancake form. I love noodles. I love that. I love it.
That fits in that glass.
I think
that's beautiful, is it not?
Yes, it is a beautiful color. It's a beautiful light amber. It really is. I do love breakfast. I mean, breakfast is great food. You know?
And although, as odd as it might be to have a beer with a pancake, well, this might be a nice beer to have with the pancake.
That looks like a nice light beer to have with pumpkin pancakes, which I do make, by the way.
You know what? Absolutely. In fact, I've used beer like this. My wife made something called beer bread, and this is a beer that works perfect with that because it's a very yeasty beer. It's unfiltered, so you've got some residual going on there, and it works perfect if you've ever made beer bread.
I would use that beer in the place of the liquid for the bread. For the bread recipe. I've done it before. I've done it before in the bread machine, made the dough with the beer. Now, pumpkin pancakes is the same as the recipe I gave you before, except try to use a minimal amount of canned or fresh mashed pumpkin. Because one time I put a little bit too much pumpkin. I put a cup of pumpkin, and the pancake kind of like fell apart. So I would use less liquid if you're using the pumpkin, and I would try with a half a cup.
If you're talking about fresh produce, could you substitute pumpkin with something like an acorn type squash? Would that work?
Oh, I love butternut squash. You're talking about butternut squash, the orangey squash. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Butternut. I said acorn, but yeah, it's a type of squash.
Yeah, acorn is orange inside, Tom. Acorn orange too.
It's very thick and fleshy. I wondered if something like that would work.
And Latin Americans eat a type of vegetable pumpkin called calabaza. They call it calabaza. You could do that too, actually. And what about I don't know. I mean, I like sweet potatoes, not the American yam, but actual sweet potatoes. No. You know what? Stick to the pumpkin family. Squash, pumpkin, it's all the same.
Okay.
All right, where I left off. Okay.
And next.
Okay. Stick to the squash family. Like the butternut or acorn squash, like Tom was mentioning, the Spanish calabaza pumpkin, or the regular pumpkin. Oh, you froze up. You froze up, Tom. Yeah, you froze up there, Tom.
Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I would call I would call your ISP, and I would scream at them and threaten them to upgrade. And what kind of incompetent people are running your ISP? You keep on getting booted.
Yeah. No, I'm on the phone with those folks all the time.
Yeah. Well, do you get outsourced office help desk people with accents?
No. I mean, it's supposed to be MediaCom, but I mean, it's terrible. Are we back on? Or?
Yeah, we're back on as of now. Okay. Now, there you go.
My son Seamus just put the hat on my head.
Good.
He says that makes me look like a white DMC.
Actually, it does. You look good. You wore that hat when I wore mine the last time, but since we're doing the food and beer whisperer, I will keep the chef hat on. All right. So what we're doing here is Tom, the beer whisperer, is showing us light, high quality lagers. This one in particular is a wheat, right?
This is I'm doing a wheat here. Yeah.
That'll be good for buffets.
From I guess grabbed the wrong bottle. From Hofbrau. Hofbrau at Old Muttern. Hofbrau.
Yeah, hold on. Let's get a still shot of that label so our folks back in home.
This is my marbles here. Here we go.
All right, the wheat beer by.
I believe this one was 5.4%, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, well, you could sit down. I mean, you're on the last beer, so you could finish giving your opinion on this Hofbrau wheat beer. Nice and light for buffets and or pancakes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because you don't want to get screwed out of a good buffet and fill up. Does your son Seamus like a good buffet?
Seamus likes buffets. Yeah, he likes buffets. Sure. Mom and I we don't eat a lot of buffets because I mean, oddly enough, I'm not a small guy. I have a rather good sized belly, but I can't eat enough to really make a buffet worth it for me. I get full very fast.
Yeah, well, you gotta leave behind all the starchy food. You gotta eat the protein, the salad, and the veggies, and leave all the other stuff behind.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, try my strategy next time. You know, I don't eat, like I said, no white potato, no mashed potato, no rice, nothing that's going to bloat me. No fries. I just stick to veggie salad and all the protein, the seafood, pork. Whether they got prime rib, I'll take that. You know, good stuff. The good stuff. Good stuff. But the only dessert I have is when I'm completely finished with the food. And I said I had enough. I'll go to the ice cream machine, or if it's a good buffet, they'll have the hard ice cream. And I'll have that. Or fresh fruit, too. You know, some buffets put out a really good spread of fresh fruit.
Yeah, some will.
Yeah, they do. They do. So, so finishing off on the...
how do you feel about pizza buffets?
It doesn't really pay to... You see, the problem with pizza buffets or Italian food buffets is that because of all the pasta, the average person will fill up fast.
Yeah.
So to spend extra money on a buffet like that, where there's mostly dough, mostly carbohydrate, you really can't take advantage of it like you would other buffets.
Makes sense. We've got a place in town here called Incredible Pizza Company that does a pizza buffet, but it's designed mostly for kids, but they've got a pizza buffet and several different kind of themed rooms, and then a large, they call fairgrounds. It's basically an arcade area where they have an indoor mini golf, indoor go-karts, and anyway, Seamus' birthday is coming up August 11th, and he's thinking about doing a birthday party there, so the kids can all have as much pizza as they can eat, and then go play the games, that kind of thing.
Oh, they have arcades there.
Uh-huh.
They have arcades. That's good. My birthday is August 1st. We're both Leos. So, yeah, that's a good idea. Oh, you and Seamus would love the Mexican buffet by me, a place called Mi Rancho. And every Wednesday is $10, all you can eat, high quality Mexican food. All of your favorites. You can even change off and say, oh, can I have some grilled pork chops, or you know, can I have a Caesar salad with grilled chicken breast, or can I have buffalo hot wings?
I was thinking about my son's birthday party, and then you were talking about Mexican food. Yeah.
Right, the Mexican buffet, Mi Rancho, you can change off. If you get tired of tacos and enchiladas and tamales and burritos, you can say, you know, let me have some hot buffalo wings, some grilled pork chops, whatever you want. You know, it's really a great place, and it's all like home-style Mexican cooking, and that's on Wednesdays. All you can eat, $10. They got a website now. Actually, took them a while, but they don't have a liquor license. Okay, they don't have a bar, but I don't care. I mean, the food is really. I never got sick from this Mexican food. It's all like, you know, like if you order a burrito, or let's say I order enchiladas, you get grilled steak. You don't get any ground beef in their enchiladas.
They're good.
Yeah, and you like grilled chicken breast. The meat is marinated. It's very flavorful. You don't get any cheap filler like you would at a lousy Taco Bell. You know, which I think is owned by Pepsi anyway. Hey, Kitty.
It was. Yeah, I don't know if they're still owned by Pepsi, but they were at one time. Yeah.
Yeah, I think KFC is or was owned by Pepsi.
Well, at one time, Pepsi owned KFC, Pizza Hut, and Taco Bell, but I know there were some sell-offs, so I don't know who owns what anymore.
Well, I prefer, if I had to pick, first place and second place in fast food, I would honestly have to say Popeyes #1 and White Castle #2.
Really? Yeah, now my son Seamus loves Popeyes. Well, none of us are crazy about White Castle. I don't understand that little gray patty. That doesn't work for me. But
yeah, well, they have fish. The White Castle by me has fried clams and codfish nuggets that are delicious, and they now have sweet potato fries at White Castle that are tasty as hell, and their milkshakes are most likely the tastiest, biggest, thickest milkshakes in the business. So I would have to give the milkshakes two thumbs up for White Castle's milkshakes.
James says White Castle milkshakes are really good.
They're big. If you
White Castle has anything good?
Tell Seamus if you order a medium, it's big. It's really, really big for a medium, and it's thick and creamy and very tasty. And I get the black and white. I tell them to give me the swirl to combine the chocolate and vanilla. Or sometimes I'm in a vanilla mood, so sometimes I'm in a chocolate mood. Depends, but it's very good. And they got sweet potato fries and fried clams. Now, if you order the fried clams, I tell them to fry it for like not even a minute, because what will happen is if you deep fry shellfish just a little bit too long, it'll get like rubber. So,
oh yeah, absolutely.
I would fry it a minute, 30 seconds to a minute. Any fried shellfish, scallops, shrimp, oysters, clams, I would do that. You know, but anyway, so finishing off on the what is it? The Hofbrau wheat beer.
Yep, let's finish this off. I've got to go and.
Me too, because believe it or not, this is the honest to God's truth. I got defrosted spicy Popeyes fried chicken and buttermilk biscuits waiting for me in the kitchen that I will devour.
So you go get them. Well, thanks for the sourdough pancake recipe, sir.
You're welcome, and
you holler at me when you want to talk beer again.
Okay, I will. And as a side dish, I cooked some jasmine brown rice from Thailand. So that's kind of an odd combination with the Popeyes chicken. But anyway, that's what we do there. I freeze it up. Thank you, Tom, the Beer Whisperer. You have just seen the Food and Beer Whisperers, and we pull no punches. We take no prisoners. We give 100% honest critiques and reviews. And if you food and beer and wine snobs don't like it, well, me and Tom will tag team you and put some submission holds on you, make you suffer. That's it. Take it easy there, man.
All right, thanks.
Bye-bye.